the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County, and this show is about Plymouth County real estate. This show is being taped at Brockton Cable Access television station with the great help of Michelle Hebsche. So a headline for the month was March Sales Spring Back to Life. You might remember in February we had a real tough month for recording. Those major storms, registry was closed, businesses were closed, led to a drop-off in activity. But I'm happy to say real estate perked up a little bit in March. As far as sales go, there were 498 sales recorded in March, much higher than the 328 deeds in February. We're running at about 8% down year to date, although our average sale price still remains out of reach for a lot of people. Plymouth County has 27 very diverse communities, and our average sale price across those were $718,721. A little different story with mortgages. Although rates are not what they used to be and not what we wish for, we still have had some pretty positive recordings in mortgages. There were 1,324 mortgages recorded in March, more than the 1,014 in February. So we're up 29% higher than last year for mortgages, comparatively to last March, and up 20% year to date. So despite the higher rates, when mortgages are more than deeds, there's some refinancing going on. And we've always tracked foreclosures since the meltdown in 2008. I think I'm kind of a broken record sometime when I say foreclosure deeds and foreclosure notices have not really gone up a lot. They're very low. There was a moratorium in place during COVID, and the lenders really have not brought a lot of those forward. For example, there are only 6 foreclosure deeds in all of Plymouth County in March, less than the 7 in February, and 45% lower than last March. They're down significantly. Foreclosure notices are higher, but still not bad. Just for your information, a foreclosure deed is when a lender or whoever held the mortgage has taken back the property, usually for failure to pay. A foreclosure notice is the first document we receive at the registry that shows someone's in trouble. If you're having any difficulty paying your loan, don't ignore that. Reach out to somebody like a federal housing counselor, and they can try to help you either extend the terms of your mortgage, possibly lower your rates, somehow try to make sure you can stay in your home. NeighborWorks does a great job. Every month we send our list of foreclosure notices to NeighborWorks. They send out one of their flyers, encouraging them to call them, and some people do. And you can't get helped if you're not helping yourself. So I strongly advise you, don't feel embarrassed, don't feel negligent on yourself, take action, try to stay in your home. The next document you're going to see is just how low foreclosure procedures are in Plymouth County. You'll see a list of towns from Abington to Whitman, and you'll see a lot of zeros there. Brockton, Plymouth, and Wareham are usually the highest, but even those numbers for this month are very low. But again, if you're in trouble, don't hesitate. Reach out to a federal housing counselor. I also want to alert people once again. A lot of people call me about potential fraud, questions about fraud, and there is some fraudulent activity going on. Not as much as you might think based upon advertisements. However, you have to be vigilant when you own property. For most people, it's their most valuable asset. And a good way to protect yourself, although it's after the fact, is a free fraud alert that we offer to our homeowners and business owners in Plymouth County. If you go onto our website, PlymouthDeeds.org, PlymouthDeeds.org, and go to the resources section, it shows you something to click onto, fraud alert. And if you signed your name up and put your email in there, anything recorded against your name will gender a email. And you can make sure that what has been recorded is something not negative. Many people record or have recorded for them by the bank's mortgage discharges when you paid off your loan. If your name is a similar name, say Frederick Murphy or something like that, you may find there are a number of Frederick Murphys that may get notices, but it's a great way, and I have to say, there are thousands of entries that have signed up for our fraud alert, and again, it's free, doesn't take a lot of time, and a good way to protect yourself. There's also some scams out there that you need to be aware of. There are companies out there that'll say, I can get you a copy of your deed for $50, $40, $60. Don't pay attention to those letters. I advise you to get a copy of your deed and keep it with all your other important legal papers, your will, power of attorney, healthcare proxy, and keep a copy of your will in there in case it is ever needed. It can help whoever's doing that work. You can get a copy of your deed for $1 a page at one of our offices in Brockton, Rockland, or Plymouth, or go to our customer service department at PlymouthDeeds.org, and they can get a copy of you for a very low price, $3. But it's always good to have that in your possession. And again, don't fall for any scams, because people will try to scam you out of your property. If you own property, a lot of land, and it's in another community, or you travel to Fort Lauderdale or Naples or far away for months at a time, make sure you have a friend that's keeping up their eye on your property in case there a possibility a scammer could try to sell that land and forge your signature right out from under you. Doesn't happen a lot, but you need to be alert and vigilant. So, holidays for the month of April. We've gone through Easter. Hopefully we've all gone through Tax Day. Patriots' Day was this week. Earth Day was this week. So some of our notable records relate to our holidays. Many people had a chance to watch the beautiful Augusta National Golf Course when the Masters golf tournament was on a couple weeks ago. They always talk about a piece of that course done Amen Corner, named by a famous golf writer, Herbert Warren Wind, who was a native of Brockton. Herbert Warren Wind played golf at Thorny Lee in Brockton. He's the only writer to win the United States Golf Association highest honor, the Bob Jones Award. And among his accomplishments, he named Augusta's 11th, 12th, and 13th hole, traveling through those holes, Amen Corner. In an article that he wrote for Sports Illustrated after watching Arnold Palmer play those holes so miraculously in his 1958 Masters victory. Miraculous playing of that course, Amen Corner. It wasn't a religious name. It was named after a famous jazz song at the time. Herbert Wind and the Wind family were very big fans of American jazz. Along with Patriots Day, we always talk about one of our famous veterans, Deborah Sampson. Deborah Sampson grew up in the town of Plimpton. In 1760, the oldest of 6 children. Her ancestral lines go back to Governor William Bradford, and she had relatives in that Pilgrim era, and she enlisted in the Army. Women could not participate at that time, so she signed up as a man, Robert Shirtliff, and she was quite a warrior. She fought in the Army for 16 months. She fought in battles at West Point and Tarrytown, New York, and she was wounded 3 times. She was honorably discharged from the Army by General George Washington in October of 1783, and she later married, moved to Sharon, and had 3 children. Her likeness is on the Plimpton town flag. If you're ever driving down Route 58 in Plimpton, there's a monument to a runner. Pull off the road, take a look at it. It's a fascinating story. And in 1983, Deborah Sampson was named the official state heroine for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And last but not least, for Earth Day, Arbor Day coming up, all our outdoor activities and the protection of our environment. There was a writer by the name of Rachel Carson who wrote a very famous book on environmentalism. The book name was Silent Spring. She had friends in Duxbury, Olga and Stuart Huckins. They were friends, and she visited quite often. And a small plane used to fly over their property near Powder Point Bridge and mixed fuel oil and DDT to kill things that were, were in the air and protect people, but it also killed birds, bees, and other important insects. And it was a very dangerous chemical. So Rachel Carson did a lot of research on that issue. Of course, it was very controversial at the time, as is a lot of environmental issues. And she wrote that book based on that story. For many students studying environmental science, her book is still used today, and her book helped provided a movement that launched the ban on DDT and launched the environmental movement. Many people credit Rachel Carson's book with being the impetus for the creation of the National Environmental Protection Agency and today's concern of climate change. Since the Plymouth 400 celebration of 400 years of Plymouth Colony, we've always shared a colony record. This one goes back to 1678, and it was a law established by the colonial court where if you did not take an oath supporting the king at the time, you could not participate in local government. Town meeting was a very big event back in the colony. It gave people the right to participate in their local government. However, the way to be authorized to vote at town meeting was first you had to swear an oath to the king that you would never do anything to usurp the king's power. And that was usurped very significantly almost 100 years later. This year we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And back in those days, you didn't have that opportunity for freedom. You had to swear to a British crown thousands and thousands of miles away. So I want to thank once again Brockton Cable Access Television for allowing me to share this information with folks. Again, for homeowners, your home is probably your largest asset. I want to thank Luna Green Baker and Liz White and Greg White for helping me put this show together, and Michelle Hebsche, who works the station, helps me produce this show and share it with you. So have a great month. I'll see you in the month of May.